We don't always see it at first, but all these strange laws in Leviticus and all the laws added in Deuteronomy, it's so that Israel wouldn't act and look like their neighbors. It's so that when people would go, that's a different nation with a different God that lives a different way. And when they saw how they lived, they'd understand something about that God and how he's better than theirs. Okay, and so you had a world, just, full of sin in all sorts of crazy ancient Near Eastern ways, and the laws given to Israel were to have them stand out in the ancient Near East and be a witness of who their God is in terms of how they lived. Let's look at this in just in one simple way, and that is I ask a question about part of the logic upon which many of the laws in the Old Covenant are built on, which we can read about if you turn to Exodus 21:23. It says, "But if there is any further injury, then you shall appoint as a penalty life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise." So it's in the context of a bunch of laws that says kind of if someone does this, then here's kind of the equal and appropriate penalty to be meted out. A bunch of laws that are based on this principle. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. We're probably familiar with that. Of course, I asked the question, man, that sounds like you hit me in the face, I hit you in the face, and you kick me in the shin, I kick you in the shin, and you shoot me in the arm, and I shoot you in the arm. And it sounds a little, that just sounds kind of out of this, not quite right in our culture, in our context. For many of us, for some of us. So, I've asked the question, how is the legal rationale, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, a form of justice and not primitive brutality? Shouldn't it be like, you punch me in the face, but I rise above and forgive you and say, man, I understood that was a mistake. And then you say, that forgiveness, it's so profound. Thank you, I'm never going to do that again. Right? Shouldn't that be it? Man, this old covenant stuff is so brutal, so just, man, like misbehaving boys. Okay, well, if he hits you, I'll hold him, you hit him, Here's why this made a lot of sense back then, okay? From the records we have, there were just what we call cycles of vengeance that had no end. Okay, and in fact, actually, there's a whole bit if you read it in these first 5 books where it talks about early on in Israel's life, they developed cities of refuge where if one of these cycles of vengeance got started, here's how to stop it. Okay, kind of like, I punched you, you kicked me, I stole your donkey, you ripped my leg off, so I killed your mother. So now so now we have a family feud, and we're just left and right attacking each other. Because God had to be like, okay, this is the normal way of life here in the ancient Near East. Oh boy, how are we going to put a stop to this? So they came up with a plan for. We're going to have like little cities where if you go here, you're safe. No one can kill you. It's not right. Because this was a big problem of just tit for tat, just growing, bigger, tribe against tribe, family against family, to the point where, and you still have this today in different places around the world, and where it's like one tribe just knows that they're supposed to kill people from another tribe, and they don't really know why that started. We're just supposed to do it. And they probably heard the last story of when the other guys were mean to them, and so they know that they need to find a time to be mean back. So the eye for eye, tooth for tooth, is a way of stepping in and say, okay, we're going to stop this brutality. We're going to stop this just endless cycle of sin and violence towards one another. Okay, if they did this, then here's what happened, and it's over. Here's the punishment, and it's done. We stop. Okay? So if he stole your donkey, and then, and then he's got to give it back, times 2, and then we're good. And you're not angry because you had to pay him back, and you're no longer angry because he stole it the first time. Whew. So it was designed to have a clear and appropriate punishment to stop the escalation.